immediately regretted it? Have you ever felt in a moment where your body was heating up and almost acting before your mind could catch up? Almost as if the reaction was happening to you and not because of you? What if that moment when you snap or slam the door or have a heated discussion wasn't actually a failure of you, but rather your nervous system begging to be seen and have a better way to express itself? And what if instead of suppressing all of that energy and apologizing for it, you learn a better way to channel it? And if you could do it pretty quickly, would you like to? If the answer is yes, then stick around, because that is exactly what today's episode is. Because your energy is not a failure. You just need to be able to direct it a little bit better and you will thrive, my love. So let's dig in. Welcome to where you are finally able to get unstuck and experience nervous system peace that is integrated into your everyday life as your new normal. Because transformation is a way of life here, and yours begins now. So what if we looked at that type of anger or overwhelm, frustration? What if we looked at it as a type of energy that is needing to be released and more of a circulation and discharge problem rather than a you problem? Because today we're going to focus on how energy and information is moved through your body and released through your body. Do you have 15 minutes to balance your life? Links in our bio. Because when circulation and discharge is interrupted by stress, chronic fatigue, just life, illnesses, all those different things, your energy can build and it has nowhere to go. So then it stagnates and creates disease or all kinds of different ailments, including having a sharp tone or snapping at somebody in a moment that would otherwise not really deem appropriate. That is an excessive amount of energy trying to be released. And I want to help you be able to tone it down a little bit, because we all experience overwhelm. We all have those moments. Please understand, you're not a failure. We've all been there, myself included. But it's about how do we manage it better the next time we experience it, because life is going to life. Things are going to happen. We're going to find ourselves sick one day and, be overwhelmed, right? Or whatever it is. Like, there's so many things that can lead to it, but it's not so much of avoiding the situation rather than riding the waves when they come, knowing how to, do we got to dive deep, or can we just ride over this one over the top? Because those two are two very different waves that you can deal with if you have to go down deep or if you have to just float the top, right? And so I want to frame anger and frustration and overwhelm not as that something bad with you. It's just riding the sea of life that comes and goes. And when you have the ability to traverse the situation a little bit more clear-headed, we're able to have a better outcome that is more consciously created rather than reactively created. Because especially as a woman too, this type of channeling of energy is actually really powerful in its creative motion. It's just about being able to utilize it and deal with any excess, because this can come from stress too, right? We need to be able to move the energy to stay in that flow. But with it, we can channel some amazing things. It can be leading a group of people to something like justice or positive, right? It could be leading a group into a new project. It could be, graduating, with something. Maybe you're on a higher level of education, graduate work, doctorate work, right? Leading yourself into those things. We can channel this energy into a variety of different things in our lives that are actually productive. It's just about being able to harness it and being able to tap into it in a way that's more constructive. And in order to get into that flow, I want to give you some helpful tips that you can literally start doing today, where you are able to dive into your own conscious realm within yourself and pull out the different things that are going on within you that is not helping the overwhelm. Because there might be other things like pain or stress or lack of sleep or illness, things like that, that have a tangible response to your being and overall demeanor. However, there's other things like thought processes, and that's where I'm going to get into today. It'll help you pull out the different things that might be causing an excess of your reactivity, or the excess of energy is really what it is. So the next time you have a situation that happens, what I want you to do is pause, or you can even stop and think about a situation most recent. If you have one that you experience overwhelm and maybe you responded out of anger, stop and think about what it is that was going on in the moment. What were the thoughts you were having? Were you overwhelmed? Were I mean, there's so many different things that could be coming up, right? And so it's important to start recognizing where it came from. Because when you can recognize yourself and having, like, just even first recognizing the thought, right? Like, oh, wow, I'm feeling really angry right now. I like want to yell, or I want to snap, or I want to slam this door, or whatever it is, right? When you can stop yourself and recognize it in the heat of the moment, that's the most ideal, because then you can be like, wow, what am I really experiencing right now? What should I do instead? If you unfortunately go through the moment with anger, coming out on the other side, it still gives you the opportunity to reflect. And so asking yourself, what was I thinking in that time? Like, what was I feeling? Like, what was really going on within me that was producing such a high volatility of emotion? However that came out, right? However it gets discharged. And so when we can really sit with, maybe you're having catastrophic thoughts, like all or nothing, I'll never have enough. It'll always be this way, things like that. So maybe you're feeling like overwhelmed, or maybe you're angry because I always have to do this, right? Or I have to do, I'm always the one doing it, right? Something like that, right? That causes a lot of anger. And so things that can pinpoint to the situation where you can actually check yourself in the moment once you start capturing, and that's what we're going to do here in a minute, capturing where you're able to recognize, how do I want to move through this? Is this how I want to respond? And if not, how do I want to respond instead that is more aligned with who I want to be instead, right? Do you have 15 minutes to heal your burnout today? Links in our bio. And if you can even pause for 10 seconds, one of the things I actually taught myself was, whenever I feel a really heightened state of emotion, it could be fear, anger, overwhelm, stress, whatever. Whenever I hit kind of like this threshold, I always stop and pause, because to me, something's going on, right? Like, if I'm scared, is someone genuinely trying to hurt me, or am I triggered? Like, what's going on? If, I'm angry or whatever, why am I overwhelmed? Why am I experiencing this? Because I shouldn't be angry, right? Like, what's going on, right? And so it gives me a chance to pause and reflect and be like, hey, how do I want to address this? Because when we can recognize and give ourselves little emotional cues, physical cues, sensational cues, that gives us the ability to become aware within ourselves, to recognize what's going on. And then we can give ourselves the ability to create the life we want to create. I mean, it's kind of going back to what we were talking about before, really being able to create authentically what it is you want to create instead in that moment. That is the most ideal, so that you can start mapping what's going on and then really address the situation. Is this really true? Is this something that, if I was to take it to court and try to, bring up before a judge, would I have enough evidence in my day-to-day life and, my account or whatever it is? Would I have enough evidence to produce to the judge that this is in fact true? And if the answer is no, or I don't know, it's probably a no, or not enough energy, because when you are able to sit back and get very real about what it is that's actually contributing to the issues at hand that we're making into issues, or things that are happening, we're able to really get a grip on, one, what's really happening, who's really driving the vehicle right now. Because are you triggered back into childhood? Are you triggered to another point in your adulthood? Is there something else going on? Or is this a genuine, real, in the moment situation that you need to address? If you're exhausted and running on fumes, please know stress is rewiring your nervous system, and not for the good. If you've got 15 minutes, then check out the free 7-day version of our 90-day program, Nervous System Reset, that will help your body finally breathe again. Because the other part of the technique I want to talk about today was, as you're sitting there and really witnessing to yourself, whether you are triggered back into your childhood or your present day, state, you need to recognize it without judgment, whatever it is. Hold yourself and I always tell people, I'm like, information is not good or bad necessarily. It just wants you to observe it. I just want you to look at it as if it's a piece of information that you're reading in a textbook, if that helps, if it helps you stay detached, because I don't want you to feed into the emotions of it. I want you just to witness it and just hold the space for it to exist. You're not doing anything with it. You're not expecting anything of it. You're just existing with it. And when you give yourself that grace to hold that space for your own self, it gives you the space to be able to actually make the conscious changes. Because when you are able to recognize, wow, my body was really overloaded, I was really stressed out, I should make sure I get to bed on time. I need to be better about my self-care in the day or my daily routines, right? Or whatever it is that allowed you. Like for me, I already know I'm incredibly strict about my routines because I can be more snappy. I don't like necessarily like, especially if I'm like tired or I'm dragging, right? And I don't get all my stuff done. Like in the morning, if my day is just like slower overall, I'm not as productive. I just notice a multitude of things that kind of fail, if you will, in a way that I didn't like. So for me, anyone who knows me personally, I'm very particular about my morning routines. I'm very strict about my morning time. Even my children obviously know, because that's something that helps set me up for my day, that leads me into productivity, that leads me into being on time and, all the things, right, that I have to do every single day, but I can do it with a clear head. That's because my body has had a chance to decompress, calm, and like woo-saw, stretch out, meditate, connect, right, do all my normal stuff. That gives me a recalibration that I need every day. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I understand, like, my life is crazy stressful and busy. It's so easy to get overwhelmed and caught up in the nonsense, especially with like 3 kids. Absolutely. And so being able to recognize that, yeah, I have this very big need that I need to pour into myself every day. So what needs do you have? I want you to think about that. If you don't have any kind of like routine that allows you to like physically, emotionally connect and like dial in and like really clear your head for the day, what is something maybe at night that can help you? Or what can you start that would help you? And first, you got to start identifying areas in which you struggle with. And so if you struggle with overwhelm or anger or things like that, please recognize you can totally change the situation. And it's tangible with the few steps that we were talking about before, because when we can get aware of what it is that's going on within us, we can then start making the changes we specifically need and make it so that we are able to tangibly make the changes that are most aligned with us. Because my routines may not be exactly what you need, but you may definitely still want to pour into yourself, because however it is that best suits your body may look a little bit different, doesn't negate the fact that you still are so deserving of having that love and having that like that energy poured into you. We all genuinely need it. Without that, we go dry, and nobody wants that. So let me go ahead over to the meditation if you haven't already checked it out. And let me know what you think, and I will catch y'all next time.